Molweni, kuyemore, habari, ndimacheron. Yeah? You are hearing me. Okay. Welcome, everyone. And to those who have traveled far and wide, we hope that it was a comfortable travel and that you are settled in Cape Town and that you will enjoy your stay while you are here. There are familiar faces amongst you. I won't single everyone out, but of course, our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Njabulo Ndebele, is here as a parent. It's really great to see that we have those who led in the past still believing that this is an institution of choice. So we are full swing into onboarding our first year class of 2024. We also welcome those who are joining us online as we are live streaming this session. And on the stage, I am joined by our sign language interpreter, Michelle. So we are ready to share information that we believe is pertinent for parents and guardians to know. So we have speakers lined up. My name is Professor Elwani Ramugondo. I am the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Transformation, Student Affairs, and Social Responsiveness. Before I call on our first speaker, I want to say again, congratulations for having chosen UCT for your child. We strive at UCT to make sure that the time your child will spend at this UCT, at this university, will be both enriching and life-changing. I can say this with confidence because I am a product of this very university. Our first speaker is our Vice Chancellor Interim, Emeritus Professor Dayaredi Akoli. All right. The Registrar, on point. So before we have our Vice Chancellor come to the podium, we will invite to the fore our Student Representative Council President, Mr. Shamulo Korombi.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof, for giving me this opportunity to welcome the parents. It's difficult, when you think of what you're gonna say to parents than talking to our peers. Because when you talk to parents, you want to be having some barriers with words, but when I talk to our peers, we just engage like daily. So, greetings, parents. My name is Shamulo Korombi. I am the UCT SRC President. It is both an honor and pleasure to welcome you to UCT. And as we embark on this new academic journey, our collective commitment to education, growth, and community is more significant than ever. I will like to officially welcome you to the best university in Africa. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude, the trust you have placed in our institution. Your presence here signifies a shared dedication to the success and the well-being of our students. As a parent, you play an integral role in shaping the academic journey of your children, and together we form partnership for their success. Our university is not just a place of learning, it is a vibrant community where ideas flourish, friendships are forged, dreams take flight. As the SRC president, I assure that we are here to support and amplify the student experience. We aim to foster an environment that encourages academic excellence, personal development, and a sense of belonging. Mine is to inform that your students are in safe hands, and we are here to ensure that they are assisted and well looked after. Our role as the SRC is to represent students in all committees and structures of the institution. Our responsibility is to ensure students are well represented and they are heard. I'm here to assure that your children will be well looked after by the SRC and they will fight the institution on their behalf if the institution decides to fight them. All we require from you is your support to your children and be understanding and listen to them when they complain. Parents, I understand the concern that may rise as your children step into the new phase. Rest assured, we have a robust support system in place to ensure that their well-being are taken care of. Our dedicated faculties, chancellors, and the entire SRC is committed in nurturing an environment where students can thrive academically, socially, and personally. Most important, send your children money. Cape Town is a very expensive city. And as it stands, the standard of living is very high. You know, sometimes just send 50 rand, 200 rand. You know, if she calls you and say, "Mommy, today I'm not feeling well," just give her 500. She go to the beach. She'll be okay. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to our faculty. Thank you.
Yeah, we can say anything we like, but when students speak, you know you can trust what you're hearing. And he can say this because he lives this every day. So thank you, SRC President. Our next speaker is our Registrar, Mr. Royston Pillay.
Good morning, parents. Good morning, guardians. Good morning, friends of the University of Cape Town, and good morning, sponsors. So we're very pleased that the 2024 academic year is underway. And we're also very pleased that we have such a fantastic day in Cape Town at this iconic location in the Western Cape. It is really something, as I'm sure you will agree. We recognize that the very real challenges that young people, our students, your children have to contend with in a fast-changing and an increasingly complex world. So your child is one of just under 4,200 students who will join this university as first-time undergraduate students in 2024. Just under 4,200. But on a national picture, national scale, there have been close to 900,000 matriculants who wrote the matric exam in 2023. And there are about 196 study places at South African universities for new undergraduate students. Your child is one of 4,200 at this university. At UCT, we appreciate being both your and your child's university of choice. We believe, as the SRC president has indicated, you've made the right decision. And of course, we remain committed to fulfilling the obligations that this university has that flows from the decisions that you have made. UCT is indeed a special place. I too am count this university as my alma mater. I studied here, I've spent very, very many years here, and it is indeed a special place. I speak personally, but I also speak in terms of the roles that we play at this university and knowing what the pedigree of this institution is. It has a physical location of natural beauty. We see that. It has an academic reputation that is known around the world. We know that. It has a magnificent library, part of which was destroyed in the fire, and you'll see some of the evidence of that to my right as you would have entered this building. And once that restoration has been completed, it will be even better than the magnificence that it had previously. UCT has a physical campus extent of around 25 square kilometers. That's big. And we are at this focal point of our main campus. In this iconic hall, the Sarah Baartman Memorial Hall, the very well-known steps in front of the hall, the portico, the plaza, the rugby fields, the Green Mile. So this is the focal point in physical terms of this university. But every part of this university, including those parts that are outside of this physical pinnacle precinct, are as important. The University of Cape Town is South Africa's oldest university. It been started in 1829 as a school for boys. And we have come a long way since, with women today making up 52% of our student body. We are a medium-sized university by South African standards. We have just under 30,000 students. We have just over 8,000 beds in our residence system, and we also have 2,000 beds in private accommodation on our database. And so in addition to this main campus, the Groote Schuur campus, there are satellite campuses of UCT and Observatory, where we have our health sciences faculty. In Gardens in the city, where we have our School of Fine Art and the School of Drama. At the waterfront, the V&A waterfront, where our business school is located. And we also have a solutions space hub for many years now in the Philippi village, which is at the heart of some of Cape Town's townships. That's an indication of the physical extent and the reach of this institution. The UCT shuttle buses travel in the region of about 1 million kilometers per year, and this is done on a fit-for-purpose scale as we transport our students within this 25-kilometer radius and beyond as well, our students and our staff. So it therefore would not be inappropriate to think about UCT as a not-so-small town, given the scale of this institution's operations. The university is governed through a range of policies and a range of committees. I'm often reluctant to mention how many committees, because it's committees, task teams, etc., subcommittees, because it moves all the time in a dynamic space. But if I were to be pushed for a number, it is close to 200 committees, task teams, and ad hoc committees, subcommittees, all involved in running this institution. The Vice-Chancellor and his team, they run the university, the Council governs the institution, and students, through their leadership structures, participate as full members in all decision-making processes, right up to the most senior governance body of this institution, which is the Council, consisting of 30 people, and students have 3 seats as full members on that body. So there are, of course, huge opportunities that exist for our students, but of course that does go along with an appropriate and a corresponding level of responsibility. That being said, rules for conduct exist. We don't hide them, we publish them. They're available online. And as an educational institution, it is appropriate that the conduct rules are informed by the values of this institution. And those values include fairness, truth, and respect. We also know that at this time of year, particularly for those who are new parents, in other words, new parents in the sense that you haven't had a child at the university before, there are others who would have been going through this experience that you're having today with other children who have already gone to university. But we do know, nevertheless, that there are some common issues that are uppermost in the minds of parents at this particular time. You ask questions and you're concerned about what are the initiation practices at the university. You ask, can I get an academic progress report for my child? This was very common in junior school and secondary schools, and what can I do to best support my child? Now, as far as initiation is concerned, this university will act against perpetrators of initiation. We haven't had such incidences for a while. We are alive to it, we are alert to it, and we are resolved that we will act against such acts because it is not acceptable to treat others in ways that are demeaning. As far as progress reports are concerned, now during the application cycle, when your child was in grade 12, the majority of students would have been minors. They would have been under the age of 18. All right, but by the middle of this year, and some of them, we think on average, in terms of the general trends, about 160 of your children, our students now, would still be around about 17 and a half. But it is certainly the case that by the middle of this year, all of them will be 18 or older. In other words, they have the status of majors, they're no longer minors, and this is a very material fact because the university, therefore, is required, is compelled to regard the contract that the university has as with the student and not with the parent. So what does it mean for requests by parents for reports on the progress of your child? It's important to state this up front, that we regard that information as the student's information. It is personal information, and despite how respectfully you might request, and despite how much we may be wanting to give you that information, we will respectfully decline such requests. Because we regard that information as confidential to the student, and of course, in the context of the protection of personal information, we have obligations in that regard. So in other words, long story short, we won't give you the progress reports. But we do advise, we have some advice to offer. We advise you that at an early point in this journey, that you make an arrangement with your child as to how he or she or they will keep you informed of their progress. That is something between you and them. As to how you can support your child, various ways, you would have heard this before, junior school as well, secondary school, encourage them to seek help at an early stage. What we have here is we have 4,200 of the top performing students in the country. These are students who are used to success. These are students who are not necessarily used to going to ask for help. Okay? But the best bit of advice you and we can give your child is to seek help when you think you need it at as early a stage as possible. Early warning and early intervention are critical for purposes of academic success at a university where the annual cycle is much more compact than a typical high school cycle. This could involve seeking help and advice from a warden in a residence, if your child is in one of the UCT residences, from a curriculum advisor in the faculty, and the faculties own the academic project at this university. It's our core business. So the faculties are the critical operating units. The professional staff in the Department of Student Affairs, including health and counseling services that are available there, and the services of our international office. These services are available. We tell our students that, we're informing you about that. We encourage our students to access them. The pace of the academic year is an important point to make. This year starts quite a lot later than a typical school year. Our lectures start on the 12th of February. Fortunately, we're starting earlier than we started last year. Last year, all universities were still trying to get back to the rhythm of a post-COVID cycle. So, but once the year starts, it proceeds rapidly. And the pace can, in fact, trip students up. Students often stumble at one or another stage, despite how good they might have been at high school. And the year at this university is divided into 2 semesters. And each semester consists of a minimum of 60 days, a maximum of 65 days. All right? So the academic year in terms of teaching days, it's 120 days. That's it. So with that having been said, and the risks that you might, and we have identified with being ready, seek help quickly, Don't take things too casually. Recognize that the academic year is quite compacted. It reminds us of the instance when 3 university students, they skipped an exam that they were scheduled to write. And the reason for that is quite simple. They just didn't study. So they came up with a plan and they got themselves dirty using typical grease that you find in a mechanic's garage. And they went to see their lecturer and they said, "Professor, we are so sorry we couldn't make the exam. We attended a wedding. And on our way back, the car broke down and we became so dirty, as you can see." And they had done a good job of messing themselves up. And the professor, very understanding, as a typical university professor is, he understood and he said, "Okay, I'll give you 3 days to prepare, given the circumstances that you had to face." And after 3 days, the students went to see the professor. And they were very excited, they were buoyed, because of course they were ready for the exam because they had studied. And so the lecturer put them into 3 separate classrooms with only 4 questions in the exam paper. Number 1, who got married? For 25 marks. Number 2, where was the reception held? For 25 marks. Where exactly did the car break down? For a further 25 marks. And fourthly, what type of car broke down? For 25 marks. And the marking rubric was quite simple. All your answers must be the same. Well, as we speak, those students are still sitting in the exam hall. So allow me to end by making 2 further points. This university, the University of Cape Town, UCT, an acronym that is known all around the world, has to continue to be relevant. It has to function in the context of a changing wider world. It has to recognize that those who study here have not all traveled the same life path to reach this destination. And we have to accept that our students will raise issues that may not have been raised before. And it will cause degrees of discomfort. But it is a learning institution that recognizes that if we do that and embrace those realities, we will continue to be a relevant institution for you, for your child, for this country, and for this continent. Welcome to the University of Cape Town.
Thank you, Registrar. And it is indeed important that we are reminded of the vastness of this institution, its magnificence, and that the privilege to be here comes with responsibilities. So we're reminded again of the values that we must espouse as part of this university. And thank you, Registrar, for also reminding all of us that students are adults and it's time for parents to let go. I can relate because I'm a mother and I have young ones who will be here soon. Maybe not at UCT, but wherever, even if it's at TVET College. I'm reminded of a phenomenological qualitative piece of research that looked at the phenomenon of mothering. And there was only one finding. And the theme was holding on and letting go. It's a tension we must all navigate. Thank you again, Registrar. I will now call to the fore our Vice Chancellor Interim, Professor Diaredi.
Thank you very much, Professor Mugondo. So, parents, grandparents, family members, supporters of our new students, a very good morning to you and a very warm welcome to the University of Cape Town. It is an honor for me to be able to speak with you and to have you all here with us today. A very, very important day and period in the lives of your children. Your son or your daughter or the student you're sponsoring will become or are becoming members of our ever-expanding UCT community, and we welcome you wholeheartedly. It's an exciting period in our students' lives, and it's a special period, in their lives. A period that will significantly influence their future trajectory, whether in the world of work or beyond. A university education is about much, much more than whatever the degree program is that your children are registered in. It is an opportunity for us to engage with our students to ensure that ultimately they emerge not only as specialists in this and that, a bachelor of this, a bachelor of that, but that they are well-rounded graduates, well-rounded in the sense that they have developed, for example, critical thinking skills, that they are able to communicate well, make their way in this world, contribute effectively to our progress, that they are able to work well as part of teams, because by and large, that is how the world of work functions, and that they are able to read, analyze, engage with the world around them. So very, very much more than simply what they will be studying in a, shall we say, in a formal sense. So as a parent or guardian or friend of a first-year student, you should be justifiably proud of the journey that you have taken with them to get to this point. You play an important role in supporting their dreams, their aspirations, and in motivating them when the going gets tough. And the going does get tough at times. This is how it is at university level. We know many of you have made many sacrifices to enable your children to get to this point. We acknowledge the sacrifices you have made and that you probably will be continuing to make in one way or another until your student achieves that important degree. And so in this respect, our obligation is twofold. It is to ensure that your children receive the best possible education, and secondly, to ensure that your sacrifices will have been very, very well worth it. The focus and discipline and the sheer hard work that got your child here will serve them very well during their undergraduate studies and later on when they are in the world of work and perhaps or perhaps continuing their education further. There are wonderful opportunities at the postgraduate level, at master's level, for example. It is possible that one of the difficulties you face, or your child faces, will be of a financial nature. It is really important that you communicate with us about any of these concerns that you might have. At UCT, we never want finances to be a reason for limiting students' opportunities or for limiting their access to the institution. Their access depends on their performance at school level. We have, I'm pretty sure, the highest quality intake of students in the country. Those are the criteria that we consider in the first instance. And then, in many cases, we have students or their parents whose financial circumstances make it difficult for them, let's say, to meet their students' needs, whether tuition fees, accommodation, and the like. We will do our very best to accommodate your student based on their eligibility for funding and availability for funding. In this regard, we work with a range of key funders from government, corporates, non-governmental organizations. We have many donors, alumni, who contribute generously so that we are able to contribute towards the finances of our students, and other key parties. We work closely with one of our most important funders, which is NSFAS, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. And by the way, the deadline for NSFAS applications is the 31st of January. So it's a few days away, but there is still time to apply. I also suggest that you visit UCT's webpage on financial support. So go to our website, uct.ac.za, and enter undergraduate financial aid in the chat box. There are resources there to support qualifying students, and it's important that they apply themselves academically, I should say, to maintain access to funding support. This becomes a consideration as students complete a year and are ready to move on and into the second year of study. The opportunities for and the criteria for financial aid do include their academic performance in the preceding year. UCT is a proudly African university. We are in Africa and we are of Africa. Each program of study is innovative, it's socially engaged, and it's cutting edge in terms of content and the ways in which it is taught. Over the next few years, your child will engage, be taught by, be guided by academic staff who are at the forefront of their respective disciplines. They will gain knowledge and tools that will enable them to contribute confidently and meaningfully in the workplace and a world that is complex, characterized by a multitude of problems and challenges, and characterized also by change all the time, which is why we should not and we cannot educate simply for today. We have to have an eye on that uncertain future and prepare our students for that future appropriately. So in the process, we certainly encourage our students to use their skills and knowledge to enhance the quality of life for all on the continent, to think about what their contribution will be. We also want to nurture an appreciation of lifelong learning. So that's the other thing about university education. It provides a base, a foundation for learning and education for the rest of one's life. Our teaching and our learning platforms supported blended and remote learning, along with alternative methods for assessing what our students are learning. So we've come a long way from the traditional, strictly classroom-based approach with one-way traffic from the lecturer. Our teaching methods are innovative and they're geared towards maximizing understanding. We offer state-of-the-art facilities for students to prepare their class projects for presentation in digital or even a multimedia format. Our academic staff members are also engaged in determining how best to bring artificial intelligence, AI, to bear in our teaching programs and guiding students in the use of AI. It's a rapidly developing technology. It's revolutionary in its impact. It is here to stay. And we see it as our goal to exploit AI to full advantage, make use of the opportunities that it provides in improving the learning experience, but also to be aware of and to educate our students about its pitfalls. In all that we do at UCT, we are seeking to build an ethos of excellence that at the same time embraces diversity. We encourage equity and full participation by everyone in UCT's bold strategic plan, which has the title Vision 2030. This is our blueprint for the university's development in the coming, well, not quite decade, a few years now to 2030. Broadly, it aims to unleash the full range of human potential to create a fair and a just society through our core academic functions of teaching and research and community engagement. So Vision 2030 emphasizes the importance of supporting and celebrating diversity in its various forms, diverse ways of thinking, of being, of doing, in our teaching and research, and even in the way in which we function as a university. We see this as a way of preparing our campus and our graduates for the challenges of the fourth industrial revolution and the changes that it will bring, in fact is bringing, to our society. Because your child chose to study at UCT, we are confident that they will in fact help to foster a learning environment that is welcoming, that is tolerant, that is inclusive, where ideas can be shared, debated, often vigorously, where opposing ideas can be discussed with respect for different points of view. Freedom of expression is extremely important. It's absolutely central to what we are about as a university. Freedom of expression, academic freedom as well. And we encourage the expression of different viewpoints, and we expect that. We expect robust debate discussion. That's what a university is about. But, having said that, we do not tolerate hate speech, racist speech, xenophobic behavior, sexist or homophobic behavior, or language at UCT. In this regard, we are guided by our constitution, the South African Constitution, its values, the values that are embedded in that important document, and the Bill of Rights. And we operate according to the principles of respect for human dignity, human rights, equality, non-sexism, and non-racialism. So UCT belongs to all of us, and we should all feel that we are a part of UCT, our students, our colleagues, and parents, you now have this connection to UCT as well. It should be a safe home for all who work and study here. Every member of the UCT community deserves respect and dignity. So we hope that as our students, your children, guardians, progress in their studies, they will gain an even greater appreciation of the adage that strength lies in diversity. In fact, they will experience diversity in the breadth and the depth of what we study and research here, and in the social aspects of campus life. We're a tremendously diverse institution, and that presents wonderful opportunities again for your children to engage with the broader world and to be able to do so not at a global level, but in, as we've heard, what is pretty much something like a town. So at UCT, your child will engage with people from all walks of life, from across the country, from other parts of Africa and the world. Many of our students, some 15% of our students, are international, in fact. Some of your students' encounters will lead to lifelong friendships. On graduation, their association with the university will connect them to a network of thousands of UCT alumni, hundreds of thousands actually, stretching around the globe. Last year, UCT's international reputation for excellence was once again acknowledged and emphasized in 5 of the world's most respected university rankings, all of which placed UCT amongst the world's premier universities and easily the continent's top university. This is a testament to the hard work and dedication of our academic staff, our researchers, our administrative and support staff, and of course, not least, our students and graduates. UCT degrees are internationally recognized, accredited, so our students, our graduates, can go all around the world, and if they were to seek opportunities there, whether in particular professions or otherwise, the degree would be recognized and they'd be able to seek and to secure such opportunities. We collaborate with leading universities all around the world, so we are in Africa, of Africa, but globally engaged, whether in research, in knowledge-sharing partnerships that not only strengthen our international profile, but also improve the quality of our learning. Cooperation and collaboration are very important aspects of university education and research. We have to see these as global endeavors. An important part of UCT teaching is the superior ongoing support that we provide for all our students' needs. If there's only one thing that you should remember to discuss with your child sometime today, perhaps, or in the very near future, it is this: please do not hesitate to ask for help or advice while you are here. This is something we encourage every student to do. We know, and many of you who perhaps have been students in the past will perhaps recall that one is, as a young 18, 19-year-old, reticent to seek help or to ask for advice. Please encourage your children to come forward, whatever it is that is on their mind, academically or otherwise. Perhaps you're also anxious about this stage of your son or your daughter's life. For some, it'll be the first time away from home. And in some cases, many cases, it will be the first time in the family that a student is going away to university. Adjusting to university life can generally be very stressful, particularly the first quarter, the first few weeks or so, when there is so much happening as our students settle down into classes, and we have a pace that is quite different from that at school. We do our best to make that transition as smooth as possible, but nevertheless, it can be stressful. Our first year experience program helps to make this transition as seamless as possible. It also helps to identify students who may need additional help and advice. We take care to ensure the safety and well-being of our students through the efforts, in particular, of our colleagues in student affairs, our student wellness services, our safety and security colleagues, and many, many others who are there to help, to support, to ensure that the time here that your students spend here will be a good experience, it will be a safe one, and that they will be well and truly taken care of. A balanced life is also important. The students are here to study, but not only to study. It is a special time in their lives. So we encourage our students to find out about the more than 100 cultural and recreational societies, sports societies as well, that we have on offer here. We have over 40 sports clubs. Or to volunteer in a community development project where their contribution can make a lasting social impact. In short, they should strive to maintain a healthy balance between studying and relaxation and a social life, and to ensure that they can pace themselves for the academic and the social journey that lies ahead. During this period orientation week, your child will receive lots and lots of advice on how to make the most of their university career. UCT's orientation office is dedicated to making them feel at home here. Please again remind your child to visit the orientation office counselors at their O-Week stalls on the plaza out here in front, where they will be able to answer any and all questions that your children may have for them. For the duration of O-Week, we also offer daily campus tours, which your child can book on the Student Affairs website. A good way to get to know this very complex physical environment that the Registrar told you about. They'll be able to interact with other first-year students, as well as the senior students who are the tour guides, and who will share their insights about what to expect from campus life. So, ladies and gentlemen, parents, friends, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you again for choosing UCT. Ultimately, you and I and my colleagues share the same aspirations for our students. So together we will witness with much excitement along the way their growth, their development, as they become the kinds of graduates that we'll all be proud of in the future. Finally, I would like to encourage you to attend the breakout sessions with the deans of the various faculties and to ask all the questions that you may have of our deans regarding your students' time at UCT. This will follow shortly after this morning's session here. So once again, thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. Thank you, Professor Reddy. So our Vice-Chancellor has reaffirmed the quality of our programs, the quality of our facilities and our staff, both academic staff and professional academic support staff, but also staff who include all workers. On the quality of our students, it attests to that your child deserves to be here. They come because they have earned their place at this university. And we are invested in making sure that the talents they bring forth an individual who will make an impact in our world, a positive impact with skills, tools, and thinking capacities that have been enhanced. But part of that, and as part of unleashing human potential for a fair and just society, is making sure that there are no unnecessary barriers to their success. And our Vice-Chancellor highlighted the need for this university to be financially sustainable. And your role as parents and guardians in helping us achieve that. Because when your child is supported through your efforts, but also others who walk with you as a family, it helps us as a university to stay afloat. I want to thank again our speakers, starting with our SRC President, the Registrar, and again, our Vice-Chancellor. I also want again to thank Michelle, who's here to make sure that everyone can follow these engagements, but also yourselves, parents, guardians, abo makulu, siblings who have joined. Really, without you, it would be a lonely journey. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and we know you are here because you are invested in your child's success. Before we end the session, There are a few announcements that I'll make, and these are mostly reminders. So you're reminded that support service stalls are available mostly on the Jamie Plaza, and this includes student wellness services, student finance. Feel free to ask any question of any of our colleagues who are at those stalls. There are also refreshments that are on sale at the food trucks. We also have UCT official merchandise that is on sale, and it's a very impactful way to show that you're one of us when you wear that t-shirt, that cap, wherever you go. And anyone who would like to visit the Chancellor Oppenheimer Library can go to the library entrance. It's on the left of this building, the Sarah Baartman Hall, and you will be guided on a tour. The Dean's sessions will commence at 11:30 sharp, so this gives you sufficient time to visit our stalls. The Dean's sessions are hosted at the Leslie Social Science Building, which is to the right of where we are now, but there will be directional signage. It's been posted, and there are UCT staff members that will direct you if you're uncertain. Thank you once again, and we've come to the end of our session.